Welcome back to the Lanterne Rouge YouTube channel. Another day that I wake up and Gianni Moscon's been disqualified from a bike race. Last night during Kuurne Brussels Kuurne, he was disqualified for throwing another rider's bike at Jens Debusschere. This was originally, I saw it on Bastietima's Twitter, and I think it was actually his initial tweet that publicised this to the broader cycling audience, and then Moscon was quickly disqualified by the commissaires during Kuurne Brussels Kuurne. But as always, we're going to take a look at the tape, slow it down, break it down, and see what really happened, and see whether Gianni Moscon deserved to be disqualified. And if you like this content, make sure to like the video down below. It really helps the channel out a lot. So the peloton were on this narrow road coming up to the climb cote, and because the road was so narrow, and this is very typical in Flanders races, is some riders went down. Not a massive crash in terms of injuries or anything like that, just people going down. It's usually not a big deal unless you have a mechanical, you just get straight back up. And the peloton wasn't going full gas on the cote anyway, they were going pretty easy. So catching back on wasn't a big concern. And here you can see Gianni Moscon, he's leaning down, he's facing the opposite direction that the peloton's traveling. He's facing backwards, both literally and metaphorically, and then he begins to pick another person's bike up, which I presume was laying on top of his bike. He's still facing backwards as he begins to throw the bike. Behind him, behind his left hip, and I don't think he could have actually seen him, is Jens Debusschere, who's a former winner of Kuurne Brussels Kuurne, a veteran. He's riding for B&B Hotels, I think, and Vital Concept, so I don't think Moscon could see him at this point. But then as he begins to pick up the bike, he does turn his head, and I think he definitely would have seen that there was a rider there, or Debusschere was there, whether directly or in his peripherals, and he decides, and at this point he could probably be like, oh, I'm not going to throw the bike, I'll just sort of put it down, lay it down in the ditch. But he doesn't. He sees Debusschere and throws the bike at him anyway. And after the race, people interviewed Jens Debusschere, and he appeared to have cuts and stuff on his hands. He had to put his hand up to protect himself when he had a bike thrown at him. And apparently the chain ring or the chain wheel hit him, which is pretty dangerous. And so Moscon got disqualified for a violent or aggressive act towards another rider. I think that's under the UCI regulation. Do I think he should have been disqualified? Yes. Do I think because he's Gianni Moscon, the commissaires looked at this footage and thought, this is Gianni Moscon, there's a little room for the benefit of the doubt with him? Yeah, that probably played into it as well, but I think because he knew or should have known Debusschere was there or another rider, I think it's the right call that he got disqualified. And if you want any further insight into the attitude and demeanour of Gianni Moscon, here's footage that La Flamme Rouge picked up on Twitter of after he got notified of his disqualification, he took off his race numbers, threw one on the ground, then decided to shred the other one and throw that on the ground too. He got a 500 Swiss franc fine for this disqualification. Will Gianni Moscon think that Gianni Moscon's done anything wrong? Probably not. He seems to have the sort of attitude that the whole world is out to get him. And you can sort of look past that in a 17, 18-year-old, but you're 25, man. Like, the world's not out to get you. No one's forcing you to throw a bike at Jens Debusschere, punch riders during the Tour de France. This was during the 2018 Tour de France. He punched another rider in the face, got booted off the Tour de France. After an incident where he racially abused Kevin Retzer in Tour de Romandie 2017, they were seen remonstrating after the race. Gianni Moscon got a 6-week ban, although I don't think he missed any pivotal races. So like, no one's making you do these things, and to my knowledge, no other riders that consistently have this pattern of behaviour where they're racially abusing people, punching people, throwing bikes directly at people's faces. There's a reason he's not well liked in the peloton. It's not just because he's at Ineos. Debusschere made it clear. He said, yeah, Luke Rowe is generally pretty polite to me, and I like Luke Rowe, so there's no real excuse for Gianni Moscon's behaviour. And the thing for him as well is he's not so good. He is very talented. I did a video on him about a week and a half ago showing how talented he was in certain semi-classics races, but he's not so good that other teams can just overlook this behaviour, especially Ineos, if it's consistently bringing bad press to them. So according to Pro Cycling Stats, this is his last contracted year with Ineos 2020. His contract hasn't been renewed yet, so he's not doing himself any favours in getting a good deal for the going forward for his next, what should be his prime earning years, 25 to 30. But otherwise in Kuurne Brussels Kuurne, the Danes are taking over cycling, first in the World Champs earlier in the week, and now Kasper Asgreen winning. Very impressive at Kuurne Brussels Kuurne last night, holding off a chasing peloton. Otherwise, if you want to support the channel, subscribe down below and click the notification bell. That way you can be notified when my live streams are on. You may have missed my Omloop at Noisblad live stream watch along. But otherwise, you can support the channel by joining channel membership. You can get involved in the Lanterne Rouge Discord through that. I enjoy talking to everyone through that Discord. But I hope you like this video. I'll see you later. Ciao.